Hello, welcome to the program Roundtable on the combined service of ASO Radio and Television. Today is the 17th day of August 2022, and the program is up again for you. You all know what we do on Roundtable. We talk on issues that are quite interesting to the people who watch us and those who take time to listen to us on the radio. I consider this edition this morning to be very special in the sense that we have a guest that will be speaking to us on a number of issues that possibly might catch your interest. And so you just stay tuned while we roll out what we have for you this morning. Of course, with me in the studio, my usual colleague and a friend in the person of
Isanu. It's a very nice one having you on this program again today. We hope definitely we'll have a very good discussion today.
All right, that's quite interesting. Don't forget, we shall unveil our guest for you in a very short while by the time we return on break, but because he is one of the persons highly respected in Kwara State. When we return, you get to know who we are speaking with on this program this morning. So don't go away.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television Star Times Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back. Indeed, yesterday it was quite very auspicious for most people in Nigeria because we saw what really took place, those who had the chance to really watch the television. It was an award ceremony for the Blueprint newspapers where they organized an awards for various Nigerians who have made it in their various cause. As a matter of fact, there were these awards meant for those who are politicians, administrators, innovators, or whatever you can think of. And of course, from Kwara State, you'll be surprised that indeed the governor of Kwara State was one of the awardees who was given an award as the best governor of Nigeria, which, we have 36 states. And for a person to be nominated by a well-known media organization as Blueprint is, to award a one reputable Nigerian, I'm talking about Governor Abdulrahman Abdulfatah, as an awardee for this occasion yesterday, is something to talk about. It is important for us to know indeed, basically, what are those things that he's been able to do since he came into governance in the state. And so with us in the studio is the person who flew in from Kwara State to be part of this occasion, who represented his governor, and not any other person than the Honorable Commissioner for Communications in the state, and no other person than Honorable Olabode George Toju. It's a pleasure having you on the program this morning.
The pleasure is all mine.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Tosi, and thank you.
Yeah, sure. It's not easy for you to come to Abuja, live in Kwara for this wonderful occasion. That shows you cherish the occasion and you really wanted to be part of it, and really you came and we saw. One begins to imagine what basically could have been the reason for a reputable media organization like Blueprint to nominate your governor as an awardee, as the best person for all the governors in Nigeria?
Thank you, Mr. Topsy. That is just one of the awards. We've been winning back to back for the past 3 years we've been in office. And you will not blame when you say media organization of reputable standard nominating the governor back to back, is because he has proved his worth among governors of the governor. And what do you mean by this? We know the antecedents of where we are coming from in Kwara State. But when we came on board in 2019, Kwara was like in dark ages. In terms of education, health, infrastructure, human capital, it was all zero. In fact, even up to the primary state of our education at the low level. It might interest you to know that UBEC, further basic education, would normally facilitate grants for states with counterpart funding. Money was given to Kwara State in 2013. And unfortunately, the people in power then fleeced, siphoned, diverted, stole, whatever way you want to call it, the money was gone without being used for the primary purpose that was granted for. So bad management blacklisted Kwara State. It was a national embarrassment to all of us as Kwarans. And to make the case worse, since that 2013, they could not make any tangible effort to redeem the image of Kwara State. And unfortunately for us, we couldn't access UBEC funds again. Because when something was given to you and you revealed or deliberately decided to misapprove the funds, other states are waiting. So Kwara State was completely neglected for a period of 6 years. And we know the meaning of this in educational infrastructure, especially at the primary school level. That means that everything was like zero. A lot of students were being taught under the tree in Kwara State. Most of the schools were in state of disrepair. So when we came on board, one of the first things this governor did, the exceptional governor of Kwara State, has been named by Shiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. The first thing he did was he had a meeting with the management of UBEC. He paid back the money that has been fleeced by the past administration. He redeemed the image of Kwara State. We were allowed to access the basic funds for 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, up to 2019 that we came on board. Totaling about 7 billion thereabout. With our own counterpart funding about 7 billion, total over 14 billion. And what do we do with the money? Put a round peg in the random. We get to work straight. The first thing he did is that every nooks and corner of Kwara State, minimally, each ward in Kwara State must get 1, 2, or 3 schools repaired. Either renovated, rebuilt, reformed, completely remodeling. Not only do we fix the classroom, we look at the students. That is, if people are not studying under conducive environment, I will tell you some of the problems they have eventually. So we have to procure thousands of teachers, tables and chairs. The same thing for the students, thousands of chairs and tables for the students. So we solved that. Then what about the infrastructure and materials? We have to go into that as well, which we did beautifully well. Now, we have to cap it. When we were coming on board, we made a government that were not paying salary as I went due. It is on record. A lot of the teachers were being owing months, 5, 6 months salary. So the morals of the teachers were actually down to the lowest ebb. And anytime they want to get paid, we have a popular saying in Kwara State. They call it geri gedi, which means percentage salary. They either pay them 20%, 50%, 30%, 35%. That was salary that were being paid. to the teachers in Kwara State. Not only to the teachers, but to the people in the media industries. It was so bad. Now, immediately we came on board, from that very month, we have never hold one single month's salary in Kwara State. That's number one. Two, we move it up, scale it up a little bit. We are paying full implementation of the minimum wage in Kwara State from level 1 to level 17 as of today. Just about a week or 2 weeks ago, we decided to sign those of the lecturers and teachers in our tertiary institutions as well. So everybody is put on level playing ground in Kwara State. Now, back to the questions before. After we fixed that, we discovered that the people that cannot pay salary, when they are about leaving office, a month to them sitting, they now decided randomly to pick their cohorts, maybe their girlfriends, their cronies, and they go and give them arbitrary employment as teachers. Untrainable, a lot of them, inexperienced. So when we came on board, we felt these are our Kwarans. So we felt, okay, let's see if they can. But we discovered we are getting a lot of dismal performances from schools. And, lest I forget, Kwara State has also been blacklisted by WAEC before we came on board for cheating. When you are not teaching students properly, so the only way they want to pass is to cheat because they don't want their parents to complain at home. So we are blacklisted and we are even fined 30 million naira. It's one of the first things this government did when you came on board. We pay back the money. Now we need to repair the education. So as I'm talking, we have to let go of all those sunset workers. Then the governor decided that he wants a level playing ground for every Kwarans, irrespective of your religious affiliation, political background, whatever guys you want to think. As long as you are a Kwarans and you are qualified, you are entitled to go on the portal, go to the system, apply for a job, and you get a job. The son and daughter of somebody selling pepper on the street and the son or daughter of a governor or a commissioner of a state have equal footings in Kwara of today. So what the governor is in Kwara that works for all. That was not the only thing we did in education. We look holistically now. We employ about 5,000 teachers because a lot of the schools, especially in the rural areas, there is no teacher there. So that is what causing all this cheating. So we employ not only good teachers, qualified teachers on a level playing out for all Kwarans. And what do we get the result? Over 50 first-class graduates were employed. Thousands of 2-1 students and graduates were employed into Kwara teaching service. And what do we now gain in returns? Conducive environments for learning, digital literacy, provisions of sustainable infrastructural materials for them. You will not believe it. Within these 3 years, Kwara soared higher. Even the reports from WAEC, we moved up. Not only that, our students are competing nationally now with their peers, and we are the one representing Nigeria as I'm talking to you in Netherlands. Not only that, one of our students is representing Nigeria again in Commonwealth in Ghana. So that means we've moved. Things have changed in Kwara State. And that's just a tip of the iceberg in education. I don't want to talk too much on education because we have other areas to talk about, but it would be good for us to note also that most of the tertiary institutions in the States, a lot of their courses were not accredited. So when we came about, it's one of the things the governor first did. He made sure we pay for all these accreditations.
You've given a very good highlight with regards to what your governor has done after he assumed office. And,
that's just on education.
That's
we've not even started talking at all.
And that's why I'm coming, because I remember, and you rightly stated, with regards to the infrastructural development when it comes to the issue of primary education. I remember at a point somebody was sacked, I think a contractor, for not doing a very good job in Kwara State. The video went well. But you also draw the issue of a society, an egalitarian society, irrespective of your tribe, religion, and the rest. At a point, Kwara had a problem.
Yes.
And one of the problems it had, it went viral also, was the issue of people putting on hijab and then going to school. How was your governor able to manage that we are not really seeing that? That's one. And then secondly...
Let me answer that question one by one.
Okay.
Thank you. On the issue of hijab, it's a case that is already in court. Okay. In fact, judgment has been passed 1 or 2 times, but I think the case is in Supreme Court right now. So naturally, the governor of a state will not ordinarily, we don't go against what a sitting court has already sat on. We waited until the verdict. And what the judgment they got so far is that as long as in a government school that is being funded by government money, anybody has the right to his or her own religion. It is the governor is a detribalized person. He doesn't care whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian. What matters to us, you're a Quran. We want a Quran that works for all. So on the respect of the crisis, what we told them that they need to maintain the status quo. This is what the government, the court rules, that they can wear hijab to a school that is being funded by public money. Because before you forget, public money doesn't mean that it's governor's money. It means the money belongs to all the indigenes of that state. So if I, as a Muslim, I don't have right to tell a Christian that he shouldn't come to my school because it's being funded with all our money. So simple, we maintain the status quo like that.
Okay, moving forward, before Topsy, please, just a bit of this, because you did asserted that when the governor came on board, before him there was Abdulfatah Ahmed, and before Abdulfatah Ahmed there was Bukola Saraki. And you did say that there was nothing on ground. Was Kwara a virgin when the governor assumed that position?
There's a lot of failures on ground. Let me explain to you. Kwara State was not a poor state in the past. In fact, we have a lot of viable industries for our teeming youth that they are very, very proud of. But unfortunately, almost all the industries were moribund when we came on board. Do you ever ask your question, where is our trade bank? Trade bank is the darling of Kwara State. It's gone. They make sure it go under. They replace with the society generally, it goes under. Matchco, where you make matches, it goes under. Erinle paper converter goes under. Jeba paper mill goes under. Tate and Lye, where we produce sugar in those days, it goes under. You know, the list is numerous. Kwara furniture, Kwara textiles, everything, they made sure it was moribund for maladministration. So when we came on board, they've turned Kwara State to a civil servant state, whereby, and the civil servants were not being paid as a wine deal. So they want everybody to be a slave. And we won't allow that in Kwara State. That is Kwara State of yesterday. This is the Kwara State of today now. And we will not allow anybody to drag us down. You see, I used to live in the United States of America. In the past, we used to be ashamed when they say we are from Kwara State because of the antecedents of these bad rulers we have in the past. But today I'm proud. I am proud to be a Kwara, and I'm proud to be a member of this cabinet. And I will tell you the reasons. When we came on board with this, our youth need job. They've popularized Kwarans to the level that they want to turn everybody to beggars. And we find it is not good for our people. They used to call the one Ile Arubo in the past, whereby they would say elderly people should come there and line up and be giving them 50 naira. And they pass over. That is how bad they made Kwara people look. So when we came out, that's what you call dignity in everything you do. We need to give our people dignity. So what do we do differently? We have a program we call Kwara State Social Investment Programs. So the elderly people, through the kings of each territory, he gave us the names, and we pay them stipend of 20,000 naira a month, so that they don't need to be begging, or they don't need to line up in anybody's house. You give them back their dignity. Then the ordinary people selling pepper or okra, we did another one we call Owe Show. They give them stipends too. to help them with their trade. It was devoid of any party affiliations. In fact, Operation gained more than even us in APC in those programs I'm talking about. We did that one for the people sending. We did not stop at that. We look at the young people. Those are the future of our generations, of Kwara. So we felt they need to be given chance. So we designed a program, the first one we call it Kwara Premier 1.0. We pick about 170 people. And what do we do to them? We give them a free interest loan within the ranges of 300,000 to about 6 million naira, depending for startup business. And we just did another one when we did our youth day just last week now. What the governor did is that we pick another 100 again. We give each person 1 million naira to start afresh at their business. So those are the kind of program we are rolling out in Kwara State. So we are giving the dignity back to the people. And let me not wow your mind. In terms of infrastructural development, as I'm talking to you in Kwara State, we are building what they call ICT Hub Center, which is another kind of it is a revolutionized industrial
sector.
And there is going to be the second in the whole Africa, but it's going to be the best and the biggest.
Still under construction, right?
It's over 80% done.
Right.
It should be commissioned in the next, I think by October of this year.
Yeah,
that is just one.
Commissioner, why you offer explanation as to why your governor was viewed and picked to be an awardee?
Because he has done so much.
So much. This is quite...
Let me give you another thing people don't...
I just wanted to know, basically.
Let's talk about...
Let me hold you...
Let me tell you... Let me
you.
really chip in one thing. You know, back to back for the past 3 years, the governor has been winning E2Share Award. He was the first governor in the whole Nigeria today that signed into law 35% affirmation bill for female in any political office in Kwara State. It is signed into law in Kwara State, which means any young female Kwarans can become. And let me wow you again. In our cabinet today,
for you to do,
we have more women than men.
For you to do what you are doing,
even the first time we go into office, we have 9 women as commissioner versus 6 male. That's
okay. Tell us basically the revenue generation of your state, because I want to find out basically as to the number of staff you have so far employed, because you talked about education has been dwindling for a very long time until you came on board at the way you are. And then you reject the system.
Let me tell you why we manage to do that.
Wait, let me ask you this question. Okay. You tell us how much you are generating in a year, because I know Kwara is poor. There's no doubt about it. And for you to come up with the number you have so mentioned, thousands of these people employed, how much are you given to them? Because political employment is different from the real life, where someone gets salary to be able to use it justifiably.
Thank you. One of the reasons why it was easy for us to do this is through the benevolence of His Excellency, the Exceptional Governor of Kwara State, Malam Abdulrahman. You see, up till now, our governor is still driving his own car, his own personal car. He doesn't drive more than Hilux with his own money. Up till now, the deputy governor of Kwara State and the governor, we all live in personal houses. In fact, the deputy governor is living in a rented apartment. His house is just, I think, maybe one house before mine.
But how has that changed things in Kwara?
And I will tell you why. In the past, in Kwara State, because everything they see, they either stole it, fleece it, or siphon it. Every land in Kwara State today, every institutional land in Kwara State, as that today, has been illegally acquired, illegally allocated, or illegally stolen. I was a member of White Paper Committee on illegal acquisition and illegal sales of public property in Kwara State from 2009 to 2019. No, 1999 to 2019. We did an holistic surgical operation into what goes wrong.
And what did you find out?
The rot was just too much. It was impunity at the highest level. Impunity upon impunity. Let me give you one or two cases, scenario. We have a mall, a shopping mall in Kwara State. We call it Kwara Mall. The lands belong to the good people of Kwara State. We gave the land to somebody to build for us. We gave him 500 million naira to build it. The person built it. They gave the person C04 of our land. The person went to the bank and borrowed another 500 million naira from bank with our C04. After finished building, they still use the property to go and borrow another 2 billion naira again. Now, equity sharing. They said Kwara State that owns the land and hold the money have 30%. They said the people that help us build, they call it sweat equity. They gave them 60%. They now said they give them extra 10% again for them to drop 200 million, which was never accounted for. That's kind of impunity we have in Kwara State.
You premeditated this investigation. Otherwise, one will assume as if you were haunting the past government.
No, it wasn't like that.
That could be seen to be so.
No, it is written. It is black and white document. You cannot manipulate it.
But then now, if you are working towards these achievements, talking about education, talking about trying to get back what we used to be for Kwara State.
Yeah.
Tell us basically the infrastructural development since you came on board, because you cannot be talking about education. Let's
leave education. Let's talk about media. This is media industry. Let's talk about media. What do we do?
Agri? Because Kwara State is an agrarian state to a greater extent, looking at the mass production of agricultural produce from that state in the past. What has changed in Kwara State when it comes to the issue of agri?
God will bless you for this question. Beautiful questions. In agri, things have changed completely. You know why? In the past, we are having problem with rural dwellers being linked to the city, interconnected because of the road, bad roads. For the first time in the history of Kwara State, we have a governor that goes all out the way now to make sure that most of these rural areas, they get road, which makes it easy for them to be able to convey their goods from the rural area to the urban. That is number one. It makes...
And how many of these roads
how many
was able
to be honest with you, it is quite a lot. And as I'm talking to you, a lot of work is massively ongoing. It is what I would even love you to come to Kwara. Let me take you on a tour
so that you see. I'm driving to,
let me finish it.
I'm driving to is because I know just of recent during the International Youth Day, there was Kwarapreneurs, and I want to juxtapose that because I know agric is one sector that really employs so much of persons, most especially the youth. So I want to juxtapose the productivity in terms of that agric, and then the kind of youth employment or youth engagement in the government.
Thank you. Number one in our cabinet today, we have minimally over 80% are youth in the cabinet, both as commissioners, as SSA, as SA. That is what the governor did. So most of the decisions we are making actually is focused towards development of the youth. Agriculture. It is randomly that governor, it's almost every time now that governor is rolling out a lot of goodies for our farmers because they are trying to encourage the young ones to go back to farm. So it is one of the topmost priority of this administration. That is one. Then you ask a question, I don't want to forget. You asked one question the other time. What was the question again?
I asked you to tell us basically the revenue generation of the state that will now make you to have the number of people you have so far mentioned that have been employed in rural areas to teach the younger ones.
Thank you. That is what I call part of, because the state has been starved for about 6 years, from 2013 to 2019, when we couldn't access any funds from UBEC. Now, we are able to access UBEC funds, totaling with the counterpart funding over 14 billion. So most of a lot of this, bulk of this were taken over by the SUBEB.
Okay.
The other ones were taken over by the TESCOM as well. So because they don't trust Kwara in the past. Listen,
Commissioner, let me
it is very simple.
It's still
Most of these are federal agencies. They don't trust Kwarans with the past because they've given them money and the money has been diverted.
I'm not asking
now
you
a new governor came on board and they can trust him.
I'm not asking you this question because I just want to impugn your personality, but I want to find out basically how much do you pay your worker? Like for instance, a teacher.
In Kwara State?
In
terms of the minimum standard.
Because usually...
Let me just...
in a rough manner of it, I wouldn't want you to say like this. How much do you think?
I think it's about like 38, 42, thereabouts.
For a teacher? Okay, so let me find out from you, sir. Tell us your relationship between the center and the local government. To what extent can you now say that the chairmen are allowed to operate without being hindered?
Thank you. That's a very, very good question. That was one of the hallmarks of this administration. You see, we have the local government chairman in Kwara State today, TIC local government chairman, they get full autonomy in Kwara State. That is why they can do a lot of landmark projects. In Kwara State today, it's not only the governor that is working. The local government across the local government in Kwara State were sinking boreholes everywhere. They personally were grading roads as well. They are not waiting for the governor alone because they are getting their funds directly. And most of these are targeted towards developing their area. So we even have what we call competitive, healthy competition among them. We just,
how many
2 weeks
ago,
ago,
do you have?
16.
16.
The best local government chairman that emerges about 2 weeks ago is from his local government because he did a lot in terms of boreholes, in terms of health facilities, provision of even subsidized equipment for the hospitals.
Okay, Honorable, because you've given so much of data and then we'll be expecting more of it with respect to the achievement of this present administration, most especially. I remember what brought him in was that particular word, Otoge.
Otoge.
But then, Otoge, so definitely, we'll definitely come back and then we'll discuss more on that with respect to the Kwara State governor's achievement. Yesterday, he won award as the best governor in Nigeria. And then before now, he also won one award by leadership as the best governor. So we'll definitely have to.
And we've been winning E-to-share award back to back for 3 years.
Yeah, we still have much. We still have much to talk with you, and don't forget this program gives you the opportunity for those who are watching and listening to call. There are callers who are living in Abuja here, and they are hearing and they are equally watching. Then my call to ask one or two questions as you are explaining. But the most fundamental aspect of it is having achieved all that you have said. To what extent can you now say the state is actually secure enough to protect some of these facilities you have so far mentioned? But that will come by the time we take a short break. You lead us through some of these issues so that people get to know basically what you are doing. This is Roundtable on the Combined Service. Don't go away.
Mr. President, last Saturday, the country which I have the honor to represent, the Federation of Nigeria, became independent and assumed the rights and the responsibilities of a sovereign state. Today, Nigeria has been admitted into the United Nations organization and assumes still more responsibilities. I wish to make our position plain beyond any matter of doubt as regards the African continent. We in Nigeria appreciate the advantages which the size of our country and of its population give us, but we have absolutely no aggressive intentions. We shall never impose ourselves upon any other country and shall treat every African territory, big or small, as our equal, because we honestly feel that it is only on that basis of equality that peace can be maintained in our continent. We in Nigeria are a populous country. There are about 40 million of us, and our territory is relatively large. We are willing to learn before we rush into the field of international politics. But we are totally unwilling to be diverted from the ideals which we think true. That is the reason, Mr. President, why we in Nigeria shall not be found to align ourselves as a matter of routine with any particular bloc. Indeed, I hate the very idea of blocs existing at all in the United Nations. It seems to me to be a contradiction in terms. When we hear the world crying out for peace, we may receive the inspiration to deal with these intractable problems and be able really to devote all our resources to the advancement of mankind by applying those eternal truths which will inevitably persist long after we ourselves are utterly forgotten. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome back. Good to know you are still here. Let me get back to you, Commissioner. You've been quite very explanatory to most people who are really watching you on the achievements so far recorded by your boss, your principal. That's the governor of Kwara State, the president of Abdulrahman Abdulfatah.
Abdulrahman Abdulfatah.
Fine. Well, now that much have been succeeded as an achievement in your own tenure, what can you really talk about the security to ensure that people are well protected, the facilities you have so far built are equally protected in your state?
Yeah, thank you. That's another good question. In terms of security in Kwara State, actually Kwara State is like very volatile because we share boundaries with couples of states, Niger State, Ikiti State, Kogi State, Niger, which again, about Osun State as well. So it makes us a volatile state, but because we have a dynamic and responsive governor, we have zero tolerance for thuggery in Kwara State, zero tolerance. In fact, there is a popular kingpin, banditry, and kidnapper, popularly known as Dogo, who have been terrorizing parts of Niger State and Kogi for decades. So I don't know how he found his way into Kwara State, and he met his Waterloo there. Because Kwara State governor, with the commissioner of police we have, with the member of the armed forces and the civil defense, with the local vigilante, we are combing every area. You might have flashes here and there, but Kwara State has managed considerably to make sure that it's a peaceful state. Because if you don't have a peaceful state, you won't be able to bring in people to come and invest in your state. So it's one of the top-notch, the topmost priority of this government as well. So our security in Kwara State, to a certain level, we keep it as low as possible.
Okay, despite the fact that we are having issues across the country, and I'm happy because at a point, Nigerians, we are surprised that Kwara State seems to be protected or is not infested with all these issues of insecurity, and I'm happy with the response you've given. But one thing I would like to ask is that looking at Kwara State of the past and then looking at the Kwara State of now, when it comes to information dissemination, how has your state fared in that particular aspect?
That's a very good question.
Because that's your background, where
because
you're coming from.
The reality about it, that is all of us here, we are members of media.
Yeah.
And who are actually the fourth tier of the government, the checkmates of the government, and actually we call them, the lawyers call themselves learned colleagues, but I called the media people distinguished learned colleagues. Yeah, what changes in Kwara State yesterday and today, especially in media? One, we have Kwara TV in Kwara State, which was established in 1997. But unfortunately, before we came on board, it was completely almost done. There was no provisions for anything there again. In fact, it was so bad that even the generator for the stations was actually the one of their past GM sold it to himself. A lot of things were wrong. Even the land in Kwara TV was sold, illegally allocated by the past regime. Because when you have nothing to share to the public except propaganda, you don't take care of the media people. The morals were in lowest level. All the media people in Kwara State were being owed months of salary. A lot of them, when they get paid, is percentage salary, which is probably known as Geri Gedi. When we came on board, we need to boost the morale of the staff. They got their salary as a window. We paid them the one that has been holding before. That was the first thing we did. Now, we look, what can we do? As I'm talking to you, Kwara TV is out there, better, more better quality, and banned with a ban.
Wow.
And not only that, 24-hour service. In spite of the tumults of the diesel, we are running steadily. It is moving, and it is clearer. And as I'm talking to you, we are still working on certain things to move it to the complete top notch. So it is not where it was before. It is completely different.
Wow.
Now, Radio Kwara, the same thing. When we came on board, you don't see them on here again. Due to the past maladministration. So we have to revamp a lot of their...
So from places like Lafiaji, can you listen to...
Let me land again. Yes. As I'm talking to you now, we did a test 2 weeks ago for our Notia FM in Okuta in Baroti local government to cover Kwara North. So it's going to be fully on board probably in the next maybe couple of weeks. And not only that, we have a new one, Kakaki FM.
Okay,
the same thing with the Iran newspaper. You know why?
Let's just
these governments have a lot of things to tell the people. So it's important for us to make sure that people hear us out.
Let's allow people who are watching us to call either one or two persons, because time is gradually eroding us and we might not have enough time for you to really explain, because I believe you are well prepared to explain to us basically why your governor was nominated and truly awarded. You say back to back all that long. But let me allow those who are watching us or either taking time to listen to us use the radio to dial 09057 408 127. You call, get talking with us. Our guest in the studio is the Honorable Commissioner for Communication, Kwara State, in the person of Mr. Olabode George Towoju. Speaking with us on why, you know, the governor was able to make it as the #1 person out of the whole governors in Nigeria, so to speak, to be awarded by Blueprint newspapers. Yeah, before a call comes in, or those calls will come in, so to speak, tell us your relationship between the governor and his own people. How is he relating with them? Is he a type of a governor that alienates himself and then relates through through people like you at the state level?
No. You see, governor is somebody that you will least expect can show up at your naming ceremony. He's somebody that where you never believe a governor will go, you just see him there. To be honest, sometimes I think he's a workaholic, because I don't know how he sleeps. If you call governor 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, believe me, he will pick it. He's out there. I was forced to tell the governor one day that you really need to slow down. Wait, what time do you find to sleep? But you know, it's somebody that's put Kwara first in every action and inaction. Okay. You want to leave an indelible mark because his family has a pedigree. You remember his father is the first lawyer in the whole northern Nigeria. So he needs to make his mark because the family name is following him.
Now you mentioned the family name is following him, and then Topsy did ask a question that has to do with relationship. But let me quickly ask this, because now when we talk about relationship, let us look at it from the extensive aspect of it. Before he became governor, certain set of persons worked with him before he won the election. And now my question is directed to what is his present relationship with the Minister of Information?
Very, very cordial.
Yeah, before you
the
respond...
minister is my father.
Before
if
you
don't know.
Before you respond to that, Commissioner, before you respond to one who asks you, I just wanted to find out, we just wanted to find out basically the preparation for your state for the forthcoming general election, looking at your party APC.
Thank you. Let me answer the first question.
You joined this one with...
Wait. Alhaji Mohammed, the Minister for Information, is my father and a very good one. He's one of our leaders in Kwara State.
You have just less few minutes to respond to that.
For your information, the so-called rifts that people are talking about is over in Kwara State.
Okay.
The minister, in his magnanimity, we want a better Kwara for our people. And we are not ready to go back to the dark ages. Okay. So the minister put Kwara first, the governor put Kwara first. So definitely they meet. So
okay, tell us the level of preparedness.
Now, let me tell you one thing again. The gubernatorial candidate of PDP today, I was the director of his campaign in 2019 election. And I'm a commissioner in the cabinet of Governor Abdulrahman.
It's a unity government.
Just to prove it further, the PDP candidates today, in his own local government, the local government, the present TIC chairman was the coordinator for the local government for him in 2019.
Now the question I asked you, so that you...
Baruti local government, the TIC chairman there was the director of the youth that worked under me for Yama in 2019.
Honorable Commissioner,
so it's all an inclusive government.
How prepared are you for the forthcoming general election?
You can see with the achievement of governor, we don't need to talk too much.
You have to talk because you have,
you have no time left.
Okay. You have no time left. It's very obvious that this governor is prepared. You know, when people that spend 60 years, they are not trying to compare their 60 years to 3 years. You should know that by the time we did another time again, we are not turning it to mini London. That is the reality.
Okay.
With the ICT Hub Center, with the new garment factory that we are launching, with the Ilorin Fish Art Center, all these are their last mine infrastructure development that is second to none in Nigeria.
So what's your take to what's your advice now to Kwarans that are listening? What are you telling
Kwara is simple. Put Kwara first. In everything you do, in all your actions, your inactions, let us put Kwara first. The fight of sentiments, in whatever guise.
Okay. Time's no longer on our side,
say more than that.
Okay, so much. What project do you have ahead?
That we are doing.
That you intend to do as you are speaking now. What is more daring in your mind?
Let me tell you. Kwara youth needs job.
Okay.
And that is why we are building ICT Hub Center. That's #1 in the whole Nigeria and probably #2 in Africa, but it's going to be the best in Africa.
All right.
So we are bringing the money. Instead of sending our case to Silicon Valley in the United States of America, bring them here. Now, we are having a new thing I've not talked about.
No, sorry, sir.
The film factory village.
Okay.
We are bringing the Nollywood and Bollywood of this world to Kwara State as I'm talking to you now.
We really appreciate you, Honorable Commissioner, for being part of this
We
program.
don't want to talk too much. We need to talk about garment factory.
No, it's okay,
there are so many of them.
No wonder you have been awarded. We thank you so much. We have gradually come to the end of the program. We really appreciate you. Enjoy talking with you, Honorable Commissioner.